What's going on? Joe with Odyssey Off-Road, back at you. Check it out. Yes, I know, I'm crazy. Get it all out of your system. Leave them in the leave your comments. I need a straight jacket. You know, I need medication. What's wrong with you? Why can't you keep it? I've heard it all before. Get it out of your system. Okay. Now that we're past that. Now, let's deal with the fact at hand is that we have another WR in the garage. This one is a 2026. The past two WRs I've had were 25s. One was a 25 WR250f. One was a 25 WR450f. If you guys follow the channel for any length of time, you've probably heard me say on multiple occasions how I kind of missed the WR250f that I had, and I regretted getting rid of it. That was my favorite bike, most fun bike I had. So, should be no surprise to those of you. Probably figured this was coming, and here it is. Now, we'll go over what the changes are. I noticed, initially I thought there was just some cosmetic changes, but I did notice a structural mechanical change to the 26 from the 25, which is a positive. I'll go over that with you here in a second. One of my biggest complaints with the 25 is, the biggest complaint, I guess, was it's a little bit of a rigid, stiff bike. Now, I don't know if they changed any of the valving and the suspension. They haven't said they did, but they also didn't say what I just found here also, which I'll show you in a minute. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. So you'll see the front engine mount here. See right here where the bolts go through to the frame. Now in 2025s, there was also an additional plate behind the bolt that went, that basically stiffened up the mount, the motor mount. So what people would do was, a trick was, you could take these bolts out. You get the WR250f motocross bolts. You take those additional plates off and you'd use the motocross bolts because they're a little bit shorter without the plate there, so you don't have a big gigantic bolt sticking out the back of the nut on the other side. And that would help soften up the rigidity of the frame of the chassis. Well, apparently, Yamaha must have heard and said, why are we doing that on the off-road models? Because it's the same now as the F, as the YZ250F. That plate is gone. I just noticed it when I got it home here and I was about to record. I looked down there at it, thinking that was something one of my future mods going to be to soften up the bike, and it's already been done. So apparently that is a change for 2026. If you guys aren't sure, that is a change from 26, 25 for sure, because again, I had both of them. Other changes to the bike, only thing I've noticed is just cosmetic. So different seat cover. The 25s had like a very tight, like stippling texture to it. This has kind of got like more of a glossy, rubbery feel seat, and it's got like a webbing as the grip. So see if I can get a close look at that. So pretty neat. I like this one better, actually. It looks nicer. Still not as comfortable as a traditional dirt bike seat because, again, the Yamaha has the round seat. So you only have about 3 inches here in the middle, and it kind of just really does a number on your rear end when you're sitting. So what we did on the last one was we got the Guts Racing seat. They make a square seat, like traditional dirt bike squared off seat. They call it a wide version. So you can order it like that and it comes straight across the width. It's not extra wide, like beyond the bike, but it's the width of what it looks like it fits the bike. And I got it with the soft foam, and let me tell you, that was an absolute pleasure. You could ride for days on that seat. It was really nice. So I probably would do the same thing with this. I know the C Concept seat is nice too. The only problem with the C Concept seat is the color of the material they use. It just doesn't match at all. It's not even close. So I do have an idea though in my brain of maybe making a matching build with this and the YZ450, which, excuse right now, is absolutely pigsty. So I wrote it last week. It was a little muddy. You guys probably seen that video on the channel. And I haven't watched it. It's been hot, then it's raining. I just haven't had time to watch it. So I'm gonna get out of bath this weekend. I'm gonna do a video side by side and talk about, I wanna do like a matching build series where we do the WR and the YZ and have a match. Like whatever I do to this bike, I do that bike. Same exhaust, same offer on both bikes, same bars, same grips. Like make them look like twins. And I think that would be really cool for the channel, cool build. And one of the things we could do, if I do like the C Concepts low comfort seat, which is probably the most comfortable and best seat to get, I can do that in black because then it would match the YFZ. So that is an idea that I just popped into my brain right now while I'm talking to you guys. So see how talking to you guys helps me, see? Just like therapy. So aside from the cosmetic things, the graphics are different. Right there where it says WR, then the 25. That is the only other differences. The seat, I noticed the motor mounts and then the graphics. Also, the fork guards are the bright Yamaha blue, like the rest of the bike, rather than that dark blue they had in the 25 models. Similar to the 25 YFZs. Had the dark front fender with the Yamaha bright blue rear fender. On the bikes, they had the dark blue on the fork guards. That's how they incorporated it. So what we're gonna do tonight is, it is Friday night. Not gonna break it in or ride it today. I'm going to get it uncorked. It is still fully corked up, so airbox snorkel, pea shooter in the exhaust, which look how tiny that is. You can't even get your pinky in it. That's tight right there. And then you got snorkel and airbox still, so we're gonna pull those out, get the throttle stop screw out so we get full throttle. And then we got right here, check it out. That's the competition ECU kit. So that's the competition ECU. And then throttle stop screws in here also. It's right there, the shorter one. And what this is gonna do, for those of you who don't know about WRs and who think you know about WRs, but you really don't, I'm gonna give you a little bit of education. So I hear this all the time. Like people are like, oh, why don't you get the YZFX? It's faster, it's this, it's that. What people don't realize is, now maybe you don't care about a headlight and a fan and all that stuff. I like to have the lights. I'm doing off-road. I'm not going to a racetrack. So when I'm out off-road, there's other people on a trail. It could be dusty. It's nice to have lights to be seen. Also, you do fire roads where some of them are like public land, public roads. And my bike will be like dual plated, so like partial on, partial off-road. So the lights are nice to keep you legal on when you are crossing some streets. The other thing is you go out, you come home in the evening, or you want to go out after dinner ride. You know, for me, I leave my house, I go out in the desert, I go on sunset rides, stuff like that. You come home, you need lights. So it's nice to have the lights. I like that. I like to be seen on the trail, and I just like to have the lights. I also really like the instrument cluster. The instrument cluster is awesome. Tells you how much fuel you've used, so you can keep track of how much fuel you have left in your tank without, opening the cap and sloshing the tank around. You just look at your gauge. It tells you how much fuel you've burned, so you know how much fuel you got left. And I can tell you from my experience with the past two WRs, it's dead on accurate. You also got a speedometer, an odometer, an hour meter, which is tracked in the app, and 2 trip odometers. So it gives you a lot of information. You have the map switch. It's all that. So everything from there, and then you also have the cooling fan. You don't get a cooling fan on the FX. Everything else on the bike is mechanically identical. It's the same motor, same transmission, same forks, suspension, same frame. It's all the same. It's corked up and detuned from the factory with a locked ECU. So when you get the competition ECU and you pull all the restrictors out of the exhaust and the airbox, you have a WR250f. The same goes for the 450, but with a slightly softer valved suspension, which is still a little bit rigid compared to some other off-road bikes, but slightly softer than the FXs for off-roading and enduro stuff. And then you have the fan, the gauge cluster, the lights. It's a lot of extras. It's the same price as the FX. And for $199, you get the ECU when it's in stock. Sometimes that's hit and miss. You have an FX with all the extra goodies on it. So I really like that. That's the reason why I go back to the WR. That's the reason why I choose the WR. You guys can do what you want. I know everybody's got their own preferences, but that's the reason why I get it. So you guys are gonna ask, how you know. So what we're gonna do is we'll have a nice hot map on map 1, probably like the stock FX map or something that I find online that maybe works for other people. We'll play around a little bit, and then on map 2, the blue map, we will do like a really tame, dumbed down, like really weak map for like when we get into tighter technical stuff where we want traction and we don't want the thing just revving out and lighting up the rear tire. We want like fine traction. We'll do a nice tame map for map 2. So that'll be good for me because I'm not really good in the tight technical stuff. So when I get in those situations, it's nice to have the bike dummy down a little bit. It makes it easier to kind of pick your way and weasel through obstacles, rocks, roots, what have you. So that's the plan. I'm gonna do all that tonight. I'm also gonna go through the bike front to back, check every nut and bolt, check the air pressure in the tires, check the axles, steering stem. It's really greased. There's grease oozing out of it, but I like to tighten it a little bit. From the factory, it's a little bit loose for my liking, so we'll give that a little quarter turn crank. I like a little bit more tension there on my stem, so the bars don't just flop side to side when you jack it up. I do that on all my bikes. And then I have the tailpiece for the license plate. I have links for all this stuff in the video description. I'll put links for all the stuff I had on my last WR in the video description. So that goes there. Goes in place of the cover of the light. This is not expensive, and there's a company that makes it. They sell them on eBay and Amazon. And it just replaces the bottom cover on your light, and you have the plate for like your enduro style bikes typically would have, but the Yamahas don't come with them in the States. So you put your license plate on. So we'll do that. And then I also have from my last WR is the lowering link that I had used. I don't 100% know if I'm going to use it on this bike. I had no problems with it on the WR250f I had, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play with sag a little bit on this bike and see if I absolutely need it. My problem is I'm very, very short. So coming to a stop on even ground, that's usually I end up dropping the bike, tipping it over because I can't find the ground in those situations. So that makes it a lot more confidence inspiring, especially when you're going through technical stuff. Short people problems. I know anybody 5'8" and over doesn't understand that, but I'm 5'6", so it is a problem. Those short people out there hearing this will understand what I'm saying. So that's the plans, and then moving forward from there, we'll have some other plans, other things I want to do. We'll probably get an FMF at some point. We're going to change the grips, so I have a ride coming up next weekend up in Flagstaff. We're going to do some single track stuff. We're going to be with Scott from Dune and Dirt and Mike from AZ Mechanized Dirt. We'll meet with those guys up at Kelly Canyon area, Munns Park, and we're going to do some single track stuff up there. So I want to get a set of hand guards and change the grips at least by then. Yamaha, if you're listening, this is the one thing with this bike you really need to do something about. The stock grips are just so hard. They really tear up your hands. They're not comfortable at all. They're the first thing that's got to go on any Yamaha. Even my YFZ is the first thing I did when I brought it home. Just cut the grips off and put some ODI Rogues on there. So we'll see if I need the G2 throttle tamer. I'm going to play around with the tuning. These can be a little bit snappy, like on-off throttle at the bottom end. But with the tunable ECU, I have heard it's very possible to tune a lot of that out. So if I'm successful with that, I'll leave the stock throttle tube. We'll just change the grips or get some ODI lock-on grips. If I'm not able to, then we'll just order the G2 throttle tamer for it. That worked great on my last one. So that just kind of tames down the initial throttle roll-on, you know. If you guys aren't familiar with those, they're metal throttle tube, and the cam design is just a little more tame on the first third of the throttle. So when you roll into the throttle, it's not as aggressive, that bottom part of the throttle, until you get to about, the 40% mark, and then you have normal throttle pull like you would on the stock throttle tube. So those are the kind of immediate plans. We'll get some frame guards. I don't want to do it 100% like I did the other bike, but at the same time, a lot of the mods I did on the other one were really good, and I like them. So I don't want to. I will probably end up doing a lot of the same things. But I'm really excited, man. I'm excited to have a Yamaha again. I think Yamaha is one of the best producers of power sports in the business. The stuff is really reliable. I mean, you get a lemon with any brand. You can have problems with any brand. But for the most part, I've had great success with Yamaha products. I've had 2 Raptor 700s. This is my 3rd WR. I've had a YFZ 450 right there. I had a side-by-side, Yamaha side-by-side, and RMAX 1000 back in the day. And Yamaha products have been really good to me. So I'm really happy to have one again. I just love it. I love the way they look. There's just something about riding it. I don't know. It may not be the best bike, and you may say, hey, that 350 Beta you had was the best bike for your type of riding. And, you may be 100% right. But at the end of the day, it's what you're happy riding. And that may not be the perfect bike or what people think is the best bike that you should have. But if you're happy riding, that's the experience. That's the takeaway, and it's part of the lifestyle. It's like you want to go out, you're having a good time. Yeah, you want to conquer terrain. Yeah, you want to do it with the bike that makes it the easiest, but at the same time, you want to really like, when I'm on the Yamahas, they just make me giggle. Like the bike, just the characteristics, it's light and flickable, the 250. Just moving it around the garage, I can tell you the difference. It's way less top heavy than the Beta was, and weight wise, the Beta was only a few pounds heavier than this bike. This bike feels like 20 pounds lighter moving it around. So that makes a huge difference. So I'm really excited to be back on it. Hopefully you guys are excited to have WR back on the channel, and stick around. We are going to keep this bike long term. And if you even think that I might be getting rid of it, yell at me. Yell at me in the comments. Hit me up. Message me. Tell me I'm an idiot. Because I do not want to get rid of the bike. I want to stick with it long term. Maybe down the road, if the suspension is still a little too rigid, after it breaks in and all that stuff, maybe next year, when it comes time where it needs like a service, we'll take it to a suspension shop and just have them do a revalve, and then it'll be butter. I mean, it's KYB suspension, so it's top of the line equipment you got to deal with. You take it to any suspension shop that knows what they're doing, and they can get it softened up for you for how you like to ride. That was really my only, that and the like a little bit of a twitchy on-off throttle was my only negatives I had about the bike when I had it the last time. Other than that, I absolutely loved it. So that's why I was really sick when I got rid of it. So I'm happy to have it back. Stock tires, I'm not going to do anything with that for now. The MX-33 up front is an awesome front tire. They come on the KTMs and the Huskies too. The rear is an MX-33 also. And I'll be honest with you, out here in the desert, especially when in the sandy sections, this tire hooks up tremendously and wears really well. I had 35 hours and almost 800 miles on my last WR250 when I sold it, and the tire was still probably had 55-60% tread left. So they hold up really well too. So we will keep them on there. Eventually, once we need a rear tire, I'll probably go like an AT82. I've been always wanting to try one of those, so we'll probably do that. These MX-33s are really good. And I've heard good things about the new MX. I think they're 53 or 34. I can't remember the number. But there's another new tire out from Dunlop that is supposed to be really good too. So we can give one of those, maybe we'll give one of those a shot. But I think we're gonna do the AT82 eventually once this wears out. But we'll get many, many miles and hours out of this tire before we get to that point. You know, Yamaha uses a lot of great quality products, all DID wheels, blue DID wheels, DID chain, you know, all made in Japan stuff, high-end stuff. It says right on the chain, even made in Japan. So I'm stoked, man. I'm really happy. I'm gonna get it out, break it in tomorrow. I'm gonna go through the bike tonight, or maybe tomorrow morning. See how I feel after dinner tonight, and get it broken in tomorrow. Get like an hour and a half on it. Dump the oil. Get it ready for our riding trip next weekend, and then we'll record that. Hopefully, we'll get some good riding footage from you. So that'll be a blast. And I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're excited about the WR, because I am super pumped. I have never been more excited to get a bike in this garage than a repeat of a bike I had. I'm super excited. I'm about as excited as I was when I got my first one. And you would think getting so many bikes, you'd lose that excitement. And when I got the Beta home, I was excited about it, but I felt like, okay, it's another bike, you know, I'm gonna go out, break it in. And this didn't light my fire. Having this bike back for some reason, I don't know what it is. You call me an idiot if you want, but I love the Yamaha blue. I love the Yamahas. Blue Crew for life. YFZ, WR. That's the channel going forward. So subscribe if you haven't. Plenty more to come. And this is Joe with Odyssey Off-Road. We will catch you in the next one. Check out the links in the video description if you want to help support the channel. Helps me keep funding more videos. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.